just don't want to play for clicks. I want to be involved with a great leading program that's going to develop players. Him leaving Colorado, a shot across the bow at Dion. I don't think Dion cares.
We saw Logan Diggs move on from LSU to Ole Miss with Lane Kiffin. Don't be shocked if you see John Emery potentially maybe at another school, maybe like a Miss State or even maybe like a Texas A&M.
Inside the transfer portal, only on SportsGrid.
Quotes coming out about Embiid. Oh, he's a warrior. You'll never get him off the court. You're just telling me he's an injury. He's one slip and fall away from not seeing him anymore in this series.
I would have sat him because there was only 1 day between the two games. It's 2 days between games 2 and games 3, and it's 2 days between games 3 and game 4.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. Your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell, coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from 3 on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not 1, but 2 coaches fired systems in place.
Sports Rage Late
This sort of
Night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on sport.
Welcome in. It's Game Time Decisions. We are live with you on SportsGrid on a Monday night. I'm Kevin Walsh with a lot to get to, no doubt about it. We'll have Coach James Young live and in studio to help us break down the big news in the association as a pair of 2 games will be underway with major implications. The start of the Eastern Conference playoffs as well as game number 2 out west between Denver and Minnesota. We'll get to that game in a little more detail in a bit, but I will start with a quick pick for the people here, which is a plus 500 shot on Jamal Murray for 30-plus points in this game. Jamal Murray got off to a super slow start, as slow as imaginable in game number 1 against Minnesota. Only 0 points in that opening half, had 17 and a half number 2. Obviously, that's pace. I think it wakes up Jamal Murray and lets him know that he has to attack early in this game number 2 here. Denver favored to win this basketball game, and I think you're going to see Jamal Murray be a big reason why, if that's how it plays out for the Nuggets. You look last year, the title run for the Nuggets, multiple 30-point games against Minnesota in the series for Jamal Murray, with both of those coming at home. So I'm on Jamal Murray tonight. We'll talk about Jokic versus Anthony Edwards, which is not something that would have felt like a fair fight before things got underway. But after game number 1, Ant looked like the best player on the floor. Anthony Edwards has been incredible this postseason, and it makes things a lot more interesting out west. In the Eastern Conference, things have finally settled. It took a while, but we did finish up the series between the Orlando Magic and the Cleveland Cavaliers. A great series ultimately for Cleveland. It ends in disappointment. Moral victories are sometimes difficult, and not everybody gets to enjoy them. For the Magic, this was a successful season, and your young star in Paolo Banchero put quite the cap on it with a 38 and 16-point game to close out this series. But this offense fell apart in the third quarter. They lost the quarter by nearly 20 points. They blew an 18-point lead and lost by double digits to the Cleveland Cavaliers on the back of Donovan Mitchell. A plus 17, 39 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, and overall Donovan Mitchell was the best player in this series. And when we look at the Eastern Conference and Knicks Pacers is going to get underway here, the thought of that series is who is going to play the Celtics and who is maybe going to lose to the Celtics, because that was certainly the conversation around Cavs Magic. Oh, which one of these teams is going to go on to get beat by Boston? The price certainly says as much. Minus 3,000 for Boston on the series spread. But I mentioned if we did get Cleveland against Boston, Donovan Mitchell could be the swing, because Donovan Mitchell can be the best player in this series. And having the best player in a series always makes a difference. And Celtics fans won't worry about this too much. I get that. But if we look at some of the other markets that are available, and we will break down extensively tomorrow when this series begins, top point scorer, Donovan Mitchell's the favorite. Total made threes, you'll see Donovan Mitchell in front of Jason Tatum as well. Mitchell's not far behind Tatum as far as most assists. Both right now trail Darius Garland in that market. But the early expectations from the books is, at least statistically, Donovan Mitchell will be the best player in the series. That has to be true for Cleveland to hang. They probably also need Jared Allen back. But the Cavs might enter this series the healthier basketball team. Kristaps Porzingis, the worry when Boston brought him in was the health. He has been awesome for the Celtics, but he is injured and very likely to miss this series here against the Cavs. If the Cavs are a rollover for Boston, if anything, you might take it. Miss this series and get ready for a conference finals and an NBA finals, and we're going to be good to go. We'll see how that works out. The early prices, and you knew this was going to happen, suggest Boston will roll to see the winner of Knicks Pacers. We'll see, because some of the other numbers tell us that Donovan Mitchell can outplay Tatum game after game after game. And if a guy who just, by the way, scored 89 points over the final two games against the Magic steps up here against Boston and averages 30-plus for a series, it makes a difference. It absolutely does. But Tatum could be in line for a bounce-back series. And a bounce-back series is something that Tyrese Halliburton is going to need as well. As we get over to Knicks Pacers here, the New York Knicks are a minus 290 favorite to win this series. The series spread is Knicks minus a game and a half with juice, minus 140. The expectation is this will be Knicks in 6 or less. And some of that is a 2 seed versus 6 seed. But I think a lot of that is based off what we just saw from the two basketball teams in their prior series. See, the Knicks went 6 with Philly. Philly has a lot more respect in the market than the Milwaukee Bucks without Giannis and also without Damian Lillard for multiple games. So for that reason, right, the Knicks got a lot more credit than the Pacers for the last series. Also, you have a Pacers team who has watched their best player not hit his heights that he had that he had in that early season. Tyrese Halliburton for the series up against the Milwaukee Bucks averaged 16 a game. Jalen Brunson against the Philadelphia 76ers averaged nearly 36 a game. That gap is for real, and we will expand on that gap because through the props market, it is jarring to see the difference between the two. But I want everybody to remember why Jalen Brunson entered the MVP conversation for people, why he's very likely going to finish 5th on a lot of ballots, 5th in the overall voting. Is the idea it was Brunson with not much else. Their second best player, at least second big, most scorer, Julius Randle, is out, and that has been the case for some time. OG Anunoby has been awesome for this team. He missed a lot of time as well, but we know he's defense first. Dante DiVincenzo saw his minutes halved multiple times in the series against Philly for Deuce McBride. Now, he did play the full 48 incredibly in Game 6, but Dante DiVincenzo's not a world beater. And you round that out with Josh Hart, who was awesome and fun in the series, but again, you don't look at Josh Hart as any type of offensive engine or creator for other guys if Brunson doesn't have it going. And that's where the Pacers become a very interesting matchup. Because while the series overall, it seems like they left more negatively than positively, the Pacers scored 120 points in 4 of the 6 games. The New York Knicks scored 120 points not once against the 76ers. Better defense in Philly, different type of series. But the Pacers' offensive ceiling is much higher than that of the New York Knicks as a team. Brunson has lapped Halliburton player to player, but the offense for Indiana just comes easier. And if this team's going to be able to get 115 as a benchmark, the Knicks then are going to have to really take a leap around Brunson. And Brunson will need to take a leap efficiency-wise. So when we're putting picks on the board in this series, I'm starting with a Pacers team total of over 105.5. Minus 120 juice, fine by me. 106.5, certainly actionable. And this is a number that I'm going to look to play throughout this series. If I start 0-2, I'll be right here, game 3, back home, playing the Pacers team total again. The offense is hitting 120 a game without Halliburton playing anywhere near his ceiling. Anywhere near it. If Tyrese Halliburton has a bounce-back series, things could change drastically. Go back through the best moments of Halliburton's season. One of them came against this Knicks team, a 23-assist game. What happens if Halliburton plays it close with Brunson? We'll answer that question on the other side. It's Game Time Decisions on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Drysdale could easily, at plus money, get the first goal, the second goal, the fourth goal. There's a few guys here. Maybe the prop betting market is not a bad way to look here.
Clippers over the Mavericks. If I would have told you that score before the game, knowing that Kawhi Leonard wasn't playing, I would have really figured it would have been the other way around. But the NBA is just crazy.
In-game live, all access, only on SportsGrid.
DraftKings making a progressive move, I think, that most other companies are also going to do or have done in the past. Adding someone from the government or someone you would say in legislation to become their responsible gaming leader here. And in this case, her name is Lori Kalani.
And it'll be interesting to see if other companies try to follow suit in terms of hiring former lobbyists to head responsible gaming.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
I just don't want to play for clicks. I want to be involved with a great leading program that's going to develop players. Him leaving Colorado, a shot across the bow at Dion. I don't think Dion cares.
We saw Logan Diggs move on from LSU to Ole Miss with Lane Kiffin. Don't be shocked if you see John Emery potentially maybe at another school, maybe like a Miss State or even maybe like a Texas A&M.
Inside the transfer portal, only on SportsGrid.
Back right here on Game Time Decisions, as we have plenty of action to get to here on this Monday night. We'll get to the hockey, we'll get to the baseball, but we have to talk a little bit more about the point guard battle in the Eastern Conference between Jalen Brunson and Tyrese Halliburton. This was a legit debate early season. Brunson was certainly doing his thing for the Knicks, had a great postseason last year, but Halliburton was breaking out in a huge way. The in-season tournament run for the Pacers, where they got to that championship game against the Lakers, was huge. Halliburton's run with Team USA, as well, a big part of the reason why he's going to be on Team USA this summer. But look at these numbers here, and look at them, not just what they did in the opening round, but how it translates to the prop market here. Jalen Brunson, and I know not everything is points, right? And efficiency matters, and I've made that point with Brunson. 36.5 for a points prop, 8.5 for the assist. Halliburton's thing is passing. He's only got one more assist on his prop number here tonight. You got 17.5 points for Hallie. That is not even close to the same level of contributions when you put those numbers on the board. They're not close. But the Halliburton number, to me, that has become most tempting is his made three-point shots. You can find that number at 2.5. But I want to take Halliburton a little bit more, bigger. I was going to bet Tyrese Halliburton to lead this series in made threes. There's a plus 240 number on FanDuel where he is the second choice behind Dante DiVincenzo. At other books, Halliburton is the favorite. If you take a look at Tyrese, though, over the final 4 games against the Milwaukee Bucks, he understood the importance of his own three-point volume. Double-digit attempts from beyond the arc in those 4 games, 44 total. If you take a look at the regular season, Tyrese Halliburton took 10 or more threes in 17 games. In that 17-game window, he averaged 11.9 attempts with over 5 makes. Now, again, I know that was the best version of Halliburton, an efficient version of Halliburton. But if Tyrese bounces back, he can run away with the made threes market. Brunson does not shoot that many threes. He's able to get his points in other ways. And Dante DiVincenzo doesn't have as much of a guarantee volume game to game. We saw that illustrated in the series against Philly. Dante could be great tonight. He could be great in game 4. But also in game 2 and game 3, he might only play 25 minutes. It's the way Thibs works his lineups in. Brunson's not going to see his minutes drops, but somebody like Dante DiVincenzo certainly could. But instead of playing that plus 240 number, I'm playing a plus 420 number on Halliburton to lead tonight's game in made threes. Because why am I going to play half for a series when I'll get a better number if I don't cash my ticket tonight? If Dante DiVincenzo goes out there and makes 6, why would I be happy about a 4 performance from Tyrese Halliburton? Now, you can certainly play Hallie for over 2.5 at minus money. You could play him to make 4 if you want. That way you can have some protection against the other guys in this game. But I'm taking a nice chance on Tyrese Halliburton at plus 420 to lead tonight's game in made threes. I think Halliburton over the course of this series starts to close the gap that Brunson has created between these 2 point guards. Now we get over to the Western Conference, game number 2 between the Denver Nuggets and the Minnesota Timberwolves. The gap between Jokic and Anthony Edwards heading into this series was massive, to no fault of Anthony Edwards. Jokic has found himself as the consensus best player in basketball, damn near unanimous. I'm not even sure who the holdouts really would be. Wild Warriors fans and Steph Curry, the Milwaukee faithful with Giannis, I'm sure some Dallas people, and Luka Doncic. But really, Jokic has found himself at the top of that board. And banking on Nikola Jokic to be the best player game in and game out is not a mistake. But Jokic is 32, 8, and 9, which is an incredible stat line, fell short in game number 1, especially in comparison to the 43-point performance that we saw from Anthony Edwards. And give Ant-Man a ton of credit. Back-to-back 40-point games, a closeout performance against Phoenix, and an opening series performance in a win against the defending champs on the road. But Jokic is always going to be the decider. What's interesting with tonight's game, as we sit here right now, 6:19 on the clock, East Coast time, we do not know if Rudy Gobert is going to play in this game. Nikola Jokic against the Lakers, 5 games, all 5 of them, he shot it better than 50% from the field. In the game number 1 matchup with the Minnesota Timberwolves and Rudy Gobert, 11 of 25. That is not Nikola Jokic efficiency. A lot of that, though, was he missed 7 attempts from 3. 2 of 9, a rarity from Nikola Jokic to step out as much as he did ultimately there against the Minnesota Timberwolves. It makes Jokic all threes interesting in tonight's game. To make 3, he's plus 410. If he's going to take 9, I would take my chances. But we don't know if Gobert will play. If he does, I like Rudy Gobert tonight over 2.5 points in the first quarter. This is a number that Gobert typically only misses if he is going to get into foul trouble. That is the only way he's going to miss that number. Now, last game out, he did miss it as well, but the minutes weren't full, and it's also a bounce-back spot. If we only get Gobert for 5, okay. We just don't know if he's going to play. But if Gobert does miss this game, it is a big boost once again then to the step-up spot that Jamal Murray finds on his plate. Jamal Murray, 30-plus points at plus 500 is something I'm taking a chance on here tonight. 30 or more, 6 times last year in the playoffs. 4 of those games came at home, and 2 of those came at home against Minnesota in round 1. Sure, not the same team, but this is a spot where Jamal Murray is well aware he needs to step up. And we talk about the efficiency or lack thereof for Nikola Jokic in game number 1. Similar story for Jamal Murray, not just in game 1, though, in this postseason. Compare Jamal Murray's numbers this year to last year during the playoff run. His three-point shot last year hit around 39%. This year, around 31%. The efficiency has been dropping, and it's a big reason why the Nuggets look a lot more vulnerable. But notice that the Nuggets seemingly are at their best when Jamal is going. That's because the engine that is Nikola Jokic doesn't really have bad nights. This was a bad night. 32, 8, and 9. Jamal Murray had a disastrous first half, though, up against the Minnesota Timberwolves with 0 points. 17 in the second half. If the Nuggets are going to get going early, it finally has to be with Jamal Murray getting going early, and if he starts getting downhill, it can carry all the way to the finish line. We'll hit some baseball, we'll hit some hockey. We're live with you on Game Time Decisions.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Drysdale could easily at plus money get the first goal, the second goal, the fourth goal. There's a few guys here. Maybe the prop betting market is not a bad way to look here.
Clippers over the Mavericks. If I would have told you that score before the game, knowing that Kawhi Leonard wasn't playing, I would have really figured it would have been the other way around. But the NBA is just crazy.
In-game live, all access, only on SportsGrid.
DraftKings making a progressive move, I think, that most other companies are also going to do or have done in the past. Adding someone from the government or someone you would say in legislation to become their responsible gaming leader here. And in this case, her name is Lori Kalani.
And it'll be interesting to see if other companies try to follow suit in terms of hiring former lobbyists to head responsible gaming.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
I just don't want to play for clicks. I want to be involved with a great leading program that's going to develop players. Him leaving Colorado, a shot across the bow at Dion. I don't think Dion cares.
We saw Logan Diggs move on from LSU to Ole Miss with Lane Kiffin. Don't be shocked if you see John Emery potentially maybe at another school, maybe like a Miss State or even maybe like a Texas A&M.
Inside the transfer portal, only on SportsGrid.
Game Time Decisions is live with you on this Monday night. Coach James Young live and in studio in just a couple of moments here, where we're not only going to break down the two big games tonight, Knicks Pacers, Nuggets Timberwolves, but also start to get a feel for the futures market. Is there some value starting to appear? Because the Western Conference was not flipped on its head. That's drastic. We have a new favorite. That's the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Thunder number got shorter. The Dallas number got shorter. And even if you trust Denver to come back in the series, have they shown enough now to worry about them finishing out the deal in the West. We'll get to Coach with that in a little bit. But the NBA playoffs are not the only playoffs ongoing. We also have NHL playoffs. We had 2 games yesterday. The Stars get it done against the Vegas Golden Knights in a Game 7. And we had the Carolina Hurricanes begin their series up against the New York Rangers, and the Rangers get the job done against the Canes. With a 3-1 lead at the end of the first period, they were able to hold serve and finish it off 4-3. Shout out to the over coming home in that game. The new series tonight comes to us from Boston and Florida. And this is a spot where the Panthers are dealing with the rust versus rest debate that plagues all teams all the time. But they've not played in a week. But Boston has been going through a battle, a treacherous war with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Overtime games, tight games, low scoring. So who does this situation favor? I'm taking a chance on the Boston Bruins here tonight. The Boston Bruins are plus 142 on the money line, and that is good enough value for me. If you take a look during the regular season, the Boston Bruins had their way with the Florida Panthers. But they also were great on the road. And I think that is something that is lost on the Boston performance in this series against Toronto. Because the idea around the Maple Leafs is this team is not all that threatening, and they're a playoff joke. A team like the Bruins even letting Toronto see a 7th game feels like such a negative. But the Bruins took 2 out of 3 on the road. So winning a road game here against the Panthers, it lines up perfectly. I also think Boston will be super comfortable no matter the style of game. The Panthers really only played fast and loose, high-scoring hockey in round 1 against Tampa Bay. The Boston Bruins, on the other hand, had some higher-scoring early games with Toronto, but those grinded-out games, the Panthers haven't played in just yet so far this postseason. So an early Bruins lead is all it takes to seal the deal. Give me the Bruins on the money line at plus 142. Let's talk some baseball. Before we get to tonight's games, I want to start by talking about the series that finished up yesterday. And I mentioned this countless times if you were with us on weekend Game Time decisions. But Braves-Dodgers saw the most interesting line of the season so far, which was the Dodgers as a home underdog. It's only the second time all year the Dodgers were a dog. The other time came in Toronto against Kevin Gausman, and it was minus 112 Toronto to minus 104 Dodgers. The Dodgers were continuously being bet against all day in a Fried-Paxton matchup. Ohtani takes Max Fried deep in his first at-bat after a Mookie Betts walk. It was 2-0 LA. They never looked back. The Dodgers ultimately, they ran the Braves in this series. A comeback in game number 1 to win it in extra innings. Sure, a little bit of everything that you want. But all of a sudden now the Dodgers, in this little head-to-head, perhaps a preview of what things could look like in an NLCS. The funny bit of that all is, and boy, look, I get it, we're in early May. But let's not assume anything with the Atlanta Braves, because they're now hitting a bit of a slump, and the Philadelphia Phillies are just the hottest team in baseball. Played an early one today and looking like they're going to put another one up in the win column again, as they are in first place in that NL East. And for the Dodgers, the idea is they'll only get better, because we shoot forward to their game late night tonight against the Miami Marlins, and they are a minus 330 favorite at last look. The minus 330 isn't surprising. It's the name on the mound for the Dodgers that is bringing us that number, and that is Walker Buehler. Not just his first start of the season. The first time Walker Buehler takes the mound since 2022, when healthy, a legitimate NL Cy Young candidate. So what do we get out of Buehler today? It's tough to tell. I will say I have some interest in fading. We have a plus 2.5 run line for the Marlins at minus 128. Getting 2.5 on run lines is rare, and getting it against a pitcher who's a complete question mark until proven otherwise makes it tempting. Or perhaps just play the over, and if Buehler gives up a couple, expect the Dodgers to do the rest on the other side. But again, that plus 2.5 looks tempting. We answer the question again, Halliburton or Brunson, with Coach James Young next.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Drysdale could easily, at plus money, get the first goal, the second goal, the fourth goal. There's a few guys here. Maybe the prop betting market is not a bad way to look here.
Clippers over the Mavericks. If I would have told you that score before the game, knowing that Kawhi Leonard wasn't playing, I would have really figured it would have been the other way around. But the NBA is just crazy.
In-game live, all access, only on SportsGrid.
DraftKings making a progressive move, I think, that most other companies are also going to do or have done in the past. Adding someone from the government or someone you would say in legislation to become their responsible gaming leader here. And in this case, her name is Lori Kalani.
And it'll be interesting to see if other companies try to follow suit in terms of hiring former lobbyists to head responsible gaming.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
I just don't want to play for clicks. I want to be involved with a great leading program that's going to develop players. Him leaving Colorado, a shot across the bow at Dion. I don't think Dion cares.
We saw Logan Diggs move on from LSU to Ole Miss with Lane Kiffin. Don't be shocked if you see John Emery potentially maybe at another school, maybe like a Miss State or even maybe like a Texas A&M.
Inside the transfer portal, only on SportsGrid.
Game time decisions with a little bit of company. Coach James Young in the mix here with us on this Monday night. JY, so much to get to. I think we have to, of course, start in the Eastern Conference, though, with the Knicks and the Pacers. And the Halliburton-Brunson question, of course, you'll know this as you followed it throughout the season, the offseason, was a very real one, right? Halliburton is on Team USA, not by mistake. They do different things, Brunson and Halliburton, and I think Team USA would stand by that choice regardless. That's not the point of bringing it up. It's that doesn't feel like a conversation anymore. As we head into this series, the notion of Halliburton outplaying Brunson doesn't feel on the board. I'm curious how you feel about those 2 point guards and how they'll match up in this series.
Well, I think it's a little bit of a different look if you look at the way that Brunson's played, particularly since Randall's been hurt. His uptick in scorings had to be there because, let's be honest, who's the next second best scorer? OG Anunoby? Dante DiVincenzo? Josh Hart if he's making shots? So it's a completely different thing. Now, I also think Halliburton has been banged up. He has not been himself the second half of the year. And obviously, we don't even want to talk about the 7 shots he took in Game 1 versus Milwaukee. But I think what you'll see is, I think these are the 2 best point guards in the Eastern Conference, and I think they're going to go at each other. And the thing that's interesting to me is when you look at it is, I think one of the things I like tonight is I think Halliburton comes out aggressive, and his points prop, I do believe, 17.5. I think he can get to 20 tonight. Now, there's talk that Dante DiVincenzo will start off on him. Then you're going to probably have a little bit of deuce after that. But if you remember, and I don't know if people know this, Wally Zerbiak, one of the guys one of the broadcasters for the Knicks, made a comment about Halliburton, and there was a little bit of words that went back and forth during a game in Indiana. Yeah. Halliburton, folks, wanted to go to New York when he got drafted at Iowa State. Mm-hmm. Of course, New York went with Obi Toppin, who's now his teammate. So to me, it's an interesting way of this series, but the point guard play will dominate. But to me, the biggest thing about this is it's going to be a contrasting styles. One team wants to run. One team wants to beat you up inside with the offensive rebounding. We got to see where it ends up somewhere in the middle.
So I think that's really important to bring up because, again, Brunson versus Halliburton can be a complete rout. But one thing that I brought up to you when I thought that Philly would win that series is the lack of help Brunson would likely get. Well, why that didn't matter is, one, Embiid isn't healthy. We know that. He had some great games in the series. He wasn't healthy. Two, they didn't know how to close games. They were very knuckleheaded about all of that. But also, the Knicks were able to drag Philly down into their style of games, right? Philly's biggest win was the only game where they were able to put up 125 points on the board. The Knicks didn't score 120 in any of the 6 games in that series. The Pacers did it 4 out of the 6 against the Bucks. Despite, I feel like the Pacers left that series with a lot more negative than positive. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how many teams that's true of that won the opening round. Maybe Denver, right? I think that they didn't do enough. Cavs, maybe. But for the Indiana Pacers, if they score 120, JY, that's not a number we've seen the Knicks be able to get to. It's not a number the Knicks are designed to get to, and that's why I worry about them here in this specific matchup.
Yeah, and I think, to me, when you look at the game, that's why I couldn't, even though I think the Knicks could win or should win game 1, I didn't like the number. I thought it was too high. To me, I'm staring right at 217.5. Why? 5 out of the last 6 games that the Knicks have played the Pacers have gone over this number. Folks, every time it's been 230 plus. So I think what you do is, and if you think about this, New York is really good offensively. It's not as better than people think. Both teams top 7 in offensive rating this year, right? So if you're Rick Carlisle and you're looking down at Tibbs and you're saying, all right, well, Bogdanovich is out, Randall's out, Tibbs went 7. I'm going to make this a track meet. Yeah. I got to get this game up and down a little bit. So to me, I love the over 217.5. I think there's going to be a lot of points in this game, and I think you'll see the pace pick up early and often, but it's all about the style points, right? If you look at Indiana, it's going to be that running gun, right?
Yeah.
But when you look at the flip side with New York, and this is where you're going to watch this series really closely, can New York dominate the boards? If you look at it, Indiana's 26th vote in defensive rebounding percentage in the regular season. Who's the number 1 rated offensive rebounding team in the NBA? Knicks, 30%.
Yeah.
Playoffs, 37%. So the Knicks are getting almost 4 out of 10 shots. They're getting the offensive rebound. That holds trouble. Now, if you're Carlisle, does that mean you send more guys to the boards? They're really good at the outlet transition up the floor. So to me, there's a lot of things that play into it. But I still think at the end of the day, it goes over 217.5 because I don't think Indiana, when it comes down to even in the crunch time, can get enough stops.
Well, this is why I'm on the Pacers team total at 105.5. If you tell me, hey, Indiana scored 110, right? Does that mean they won the game? Not necessarily, right? Maybe the Knicks, outside now playing a worse defense, maybe they found their rhythm offensively. Mm-hmm. Hey, the Knicks scored 120. Yep, all good. Pacers hit their number. The Knicks are not. This is not going. We're not going to say, hey, 125-98, Knicks win. I don't see that in the cards. Although one of the interesting things and unfortunate is how useless the regular season sample size is. The first game was very early on in the year. Now Halliburton had a 23 assist game there. They scored 140 points. It was a different team. It was pre-OG trade. And I don't want to use a November game or December game as a catalyst for this. The problem is the other two. Game 2, Halliburton was on a minutes restriction. Randall and OG were out. And then Game 3, Taj Gibson started. So I don't know. That's not really. I mean, that's not really fair because again, the Knicks dealt with a lot of injuries in the back end of that season. It wasn't just Randall, but OG missed a lot of time. And again, it's what catapulted Brunson into that MVP conversation because of the notion of how much he was doing on his own, which is great for Brunson individually, and it's taken him to a different stratosphere of player. But if the Pacers as a team, JY, can score 120 while Halliburton's playing poorly, that doesn't bode well for the Knicks. Are there any series-long prices that you've identified having some value here?
Well, I think to me, I'm looking at the rebounding market because I think that if New York is going to contend in this series, to me, it's going to be the rebounds. And I think that's where New York is going to make their key. So here's the thing, and you got to get tricky here because of the fact that when you look at this series with the Knicks and the Pacers, you got to look at the pick and roll game, right, with Miles Turner. Pick and roll, pick and pop. Knicks play drop coverage, which then leads to Miles Turner getting loose. So to me, I think you look at certain things like how they line up together. So when you look at the rebound market as I pull it up, y'all are going to think I'm crazy. Like Josh Hart to lead the series in rebounding is minus 800. Like that's wild.
Right.
So I can't touch that. So now I start going and looking around. To me, this is maybe crazy. I think Mitchell Robinson's going to have a big series. And he's at 16-1 to lead the series in rebounding. I think Mitch can get busy tonight. And that's why I like Mitch to go over his rebounding prop of 7.5, 11 out of 15, right, over the last 4 versus Pacers. What did I just say? One of the worst teams at securing defensive rebounds, 26th, was Indiana. Folks, who is arguably the best offensive rebounder in the NBA? Mitchell Robinson. I'm not touching his points. I mean, he can't shoot it. You know, if it was on like a little mini hoop that Juliana shot when she was 2 years old, but he can get rebounds. So I like Mitchell Robinson 16-1 to lead the series in rebounds.
And it's one of those bets that if he has a great game, number one, JY, you can get some value on. I think, though, for me, Josh Hart has his ceiling on rebounds is so high that it is going to be really hard to beat him. He will have multiple 12-assist games in this series, and Mitch Rob might only have one double-digit assist rebound game. And I think that's the rebounds is what I'm saying, not assists, rebounds. So I think trying to fade Hart in the game leaders market would be more tempting. I thought Pascal was interesting at a huge 23-1 number because he had some double-digit rebound games ultimately against the Milwaukee Bucks, but it drops off. And if he has 2 games of 7, you're going to see too much out of Josh Hart. We'll talk Nuggets Timberwolves on the other side here on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Drysdale could easily, at plus money, get the first goal, the second goal, the fourth goal. There's a few guys here. Maybe the prop betting market is not a bad way to look here.
Clippers over the Mavericks. If I would have told you that score before the game, knowing that Kawhi Leonard wasn't playing, I would have really figured it would have been the other way around. But the NBA is just crazy.
In-game live, all access, only on SportsGrid.
DraftKings making a progressive move, I think, that most other companies are also going to do or have done in the past. Adding someone from the government or someone you would say in legislation to become their responsible gaming leader here. And in this case, her name is Lori Kalani.
And it'll be interesting to see if other companies try to follow suit in terms of hiring former lobbyists to head responsible gaming.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
I just don't want to play for clicks. I want to be involved with a great leading program that's going to develop players. Him leaving Colorado, a shot across the bow at Dion. I don't think Dion cares.
We saw Logan Diggs move on from LSU to Ole Miss with Lane Kiffin. Don't be shocked if you see John Emery potentially maybe at another school, maybe like a Miss State or even maybe like a Texas A&M.
Inside the transfer portal, only on SportsGrid.
Back with you here on Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. In studio is Coach James Young. We've just talked a lot about the Knicks and the Pacers and the head-to-head matchup between the two stars in Brunson and Halliburton. And Brunson is projected to rout Halliburton in that matchup. I think that's a big part of why the Knicks numbers look the way they do. There are some Pacers numbers that are tempting to me. Ultimately, I've left those alone for now. Pacers minus 1.5 games alt spread at plus 330, but I know that'll feel more slanderous to the Knicks fans than anything. It's not about slander, it's about the scoring. We've talked about it. But I'm starting this series with that team total on the Indiana Pacers, and I feel good about that. But as far as Minnesota and Denver, JY, when you compare the stars, Nikola Jokic and Anthony Edwards, that is not supposed to be close. Not because, the reason Brunson Halliburton's not close is Halliburton's really dropped off over the last half of the year, injuries and what have you. Jokic Anderson's supposed to be close because for a lot of people, Jokic versus anyone isn't really close. Now, 32-8-9 is what Jokic had. You would think it was like 22-6-6. It's that Anthony Edwards was brilliant with another 40-point performance here. And having Ant play at this level, now he's not going to average 40 a game, but he's now expected to average 30 a game in this series, JY. Minnesota's the new favorite on one sports book to win the West. Do you feel like that's an overreaction?
No. Listen, it's watching the evolution of Anthony Edwards' game has been really spectacular. And to me, Kevin, before I get into offense, to me, it's his defense. I feel like this guy's taken that step and really had become a more two-way player. Here's the thing, folks. If he wants to go get a bucket, I'm looking at Denver and I'm like, Jamal Murray, no. KCP, no. Harry Watson, or Watson, it could be Randy Watson, no. Justin Holiday, no. Reggie Jackson, oh, hell no. Christian Brown, no. Like, this is a series, folks. The first time I'm going to say this, I think this is when Denver's going to miss Bruce Brown. And his not that Bruce scores, but he's another defender. He's tough-nosed. He'll get into Ant a little bit. He's a little bit thicker and stronger. Won't get bumped off because when Ant gets ahead of steam going downhill, you can't bump him off the ball because he's incredibly strong. There's no one on that team that could defend him one-on-one. So to me, Anthony Edwards' game has been spectacular. And listen, I don't think, when I look at a guy like Jason Tatum, I'm like, all right, man, here comes that 4 for 16. Here he comes. He's going to start settling for step-back jumpers, whatever. I just don't see that out of Ant. I just see a guy that's dialed in, and I think they have enough guys defensively, and the fact that their bench, when you look at guys like Alexander Walker, when you look at Naz Reid, if you look at Shlomo Anderson, their bench is better than Denver's bench, and I think that they are going to win the West. I thought it was going to be 1-1 coming out, and I do like Denver minus the points tonight because I think this is like a must win for Denver. Like, this is Darvin Ham, holla at your boy. This is not the Darvin Ham School of Adjustments. Mike Malone better have everything plus the kitchen sink ready to go tonight because they need this game, Kevin. They cannot go down 0-2.
So, agree. You can't go down 0-2. It's not only the hole that you're in, losing both games at home, it's the momentum that Minnesota already has, having yet to lose so far in this postseason. But again, Denver was not rolled in this game. Denver got rolled in the first 4 minutes.
Yes.
And then they won the damn quarter. They won the half. Here is something that is going on with Denver, and it points back to stuff that I was talking about last year, but I was the only one who cared because I was upset that the Lakers lost to the Nuggets. And everybody else was like, ha, we told you the Lakers weren't good. Jamal Murray in that series against L.A. played the best series he will ever play in his life. That's not an excuse. It happened. The Lakers allowed it to happen, but it was real. And it mattered, and it made a difference. Jamal Murray last year, 26 points a game on 20.5 shots. JY, he's up to 22.3 attempts per game so far. He's averaging almost 4 less points per game. His field goal percentage is down 7 full points, and the three-point percentage is down 8 full points. You can blame it on the calf. I don't care. It's not the point. Is the calf going to get better tonight? Is it going to get better tomorrow? So then that means Denver, because the Nugget stuff is based on guys going up a level, right? Jokic gets better with the playoffs. Jamal gets better with the playoffs. Gordon gets better with the playoffs. KCP gets better with the playoffs. Well, what if Jamal doesn't get better? What if Jamal Murray and Karl Anthony Towns is dead even? That's a big problem. I think Jamal goes off tonight. I'm playing him for 30-plus points at plus 500, JY. But here's what will happen. People then will overreact the other way and be like, see, he's back. No, the calf isn't going anywhere. So this is what and I don't know where you're at on Jamal Murray in this series. I think overall, it feels to me Denver is, look, they're not as good as last year. And I think we might be in a situation where, I don't want to slander Jamal, but because of the health, he's just not trustworthy enough to cross the finish line. I don't think that's slander. I think it's evaluating the situation.
No, I think it's a legitimate concern, and you're right. If Karl Anthony Towns and Jamal Murray play even, there's a problem.
Cat outplayed him in game one, for the record.
Outplayed him, and honestly, Cat outplayed him in game one, and Nas Reed in the fourth quarter outplayed all of them. Guy was begging. By the way, Nas Reed, shout out Asbury Park, Asbury in the building. That's right about 15 minutes from here. So me and Kate up.
That's right.
We big Nas Reed guys. Shout out Roselle Catholic Day Pop. All right. So when you look at this, I think there is concern with Jamal Murray, and to me, there's one thing I want to look at for a series prop. People I want to look at. I think it's Michael Porter Jr. to lead it in threes. Now, it's minus 115, I do believe I just saw before the break. And here's the thing. That's all he's going to do. He's going to shoot threes. He's going to shoot the ball a ton from the perimeter, especially Jamal Murray's shot is off. He's got to make threes. So I look at Michael Porter Jr. to go over threes. And then when you look at Aaron Gordon, folks, watch this game very close to game one. He doesn't care about scoring. His job is to frustrate what out of Cat. Look at Aaron Gordon's points to go under. Maybe his rebounds to go under as well because Cat's the perimeter can't chase rebounds.
I do think, though, if they don't believe KCP can guard Ant, and I think they'll trust KCP enough, I'll point to you, drag Aaron down onto Ant and say, all right, Cat beat us. We'll break this down a little bit more. Plus, what if Gobert is out tonight? That's next.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Drysdale could easily at plus money get the first goal, the second goal, the fourth goal. There's a few guys here. Maybe the prop betting market is not a bad way to look here.
Clippers over the Mavericks. If I would have told you that score before the game, knowing that Kawhi Leonard wasn't playing, I would have really figured it would have been the other way around. But the NBA is just crazy.
In-game live, all access, only on SportsGrid.
DraftKings making a progressive move, I think, that most other companies are also going to do or have done in the past. Adding someone from the government or someone you would say in legislation to become their responsible gaming leader here. And in this case, her name is Lori Kalani.
And it'll be interesting to see if other companies try to follow suit in terms of hiring former lobbyists to head responsible gaming.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
I just don't want to play for clicks. I want to be involved with a great leading program that's going to develop players. Him leaving Colorado, a shot across the bow at Dion. I don't think Dion cares.
We saw Logan Diggs move on from LSU to Ole Miss with Lane Kiffin. Don't be shocked if you see John Emery potentially maybe at another school, maybe like a Miss State or even maybe like a Texas A&M.
Inside the transfer portal, only on SportsGrid.
Back right here on SportsGrid, Kevin Walsh, Coach James Young. Coming up next, we're going to talk to Joe Madden about Panthers-Bruins, as we, of course, have playoff hockey to get to. But finishing out the playoff basketball here, JY, any picks we've missed yet that you want to put on the board for the people?
Well, I did say Denver minus 5.5. Listen, if you look at the series or the season for the Denver Nuggets, anytime they've lost a home game and their next game was home again, they are 6-1 straight up and against the spread in those matchups. And 5 of those 6 games were double-digit wins. The only one that wasn't a double-digit win was Boston. I think it was like a 5 or a 6-point game. So I think that they win this game. I wouldn't be shocked if it's a double-digit win, because I think they have to get this. They have to get it 1-1. And not only do they have to win, I think they have to win, I would say, somewhat impressively, because then maybe you put a little bit of, I don't want to say fear, maybe a little bit of a doubt in a Minnesota team who has not lost a game so far in the postseason. For props, he was bad. I mean, he was real bad. I'm going Jaden McDaniels over 9.5 points plus assists. Over 9 of his last 15 games, 6 out of the last 9 versus Denver, 50 out of 77 this year. Only 3 times this season he has missed his points plus assists prop back-to-back games. On the other side, it's been a while since I said it, folks. Reggie Jackson over 6.5 PRA. Yes, I said Reggie stepping up. 11 out of 15. All 5 games this year versus the T-Wolves. Gone over it. I've talked about it. No Brown. No Jeff Green. Maybe the moment is too big for guys like Watson. Too big for Brown. Now, I think Reggie steps up, and it's a low number, folks, for a guy that should get the minutes. Reggie Jackson over 6.5 points, rebounds, assists.
What was interesting is their bench was plus throughout the game. Everybody was positive, and all their best plus minuses were the bench guys, and Holiday and Jackson really standing out there. My favorite bet in this game tonight may end up getting canceled, which is Rudy Gobert over 2.5 first-quarter points. Clear and obvious bounce-back spot for Rudy. It's a light number. He plays double-digit minutes as long as he stays out of foul trouble. He might miss this game. His wife is expecting, so it's questionable. It's a little confusing to me, because I would imagine, unless his wife is in Denver, Rudy is either on a flight or playing in this game, but we still don't have word, unfortunately. Here's the thing, though. If Gobert misses the game, JY, what does that mean to you for Jokic? He played against Minnesota this year. Cat and Gobert were out. He had 36, but again, he puts up 30 on Rudy usually anyway. It's just he didn't do it efficiently last game. I think it's just better for Denver's prospects to win overall. I don't think it means Jokic goes from scoring 30 to 50.
Mm-hmm. To me, I'm looking at, and this gets even bigger if this happens, because if it's no Rudy Gobert, that means Naz Reid goes into the starting lineup. Folks, the rebounding prop for the Joker is 12.5. Okay? I get it. He's one of the best rebounders. But this is a guy that's gone under this number 10 out of the last 13 games versus Minnesota. And now here's why, because he has to keep Rudy off the boards. Now if Rudy doesn't play, he guards Naz Reid. Naz Reid stretch 5. Now he's got to go even more outside to cover it. So to me, I looked at it and he went under this. I think he only got to, 7 or 8. I think he got 9 rebounds game in 1. I also like it. I hit this in game 1. I think he goes under it. Give me Joker under 12.5 rebounds.
What I would say is that number probably goes the other direction. If Gobert's out, the game that Gobert missed, he had 16. So he might, slag off a little bit as opposed to trying to press up on the perimeter. I think it's going to be really interesting. Again, I think they're going to let KCP guard and see how it goes, right? If that really is an issue and they need to use Aaron Gordon for size, Jokic then just has to guard. Then Jokic just has to guard Cat. Because here's the deal. If I put Porter Jr. on Rudy Gobert and the Minnesota Timberwolves say, don't worry, we'll just throw to Gobert in the post, that's great. Again, you see JY's reaction. That's not happening. That's not how this is going to go. So we know that already, and we feel pretty confident about that. Knicks tonight, feel confident? Knicks fandom. Take the capper hat off for a moment.
I'm scared.
You're scared?
I'm scared. I'm scared that this is going to be.
If they lose game 1, is it full panic button?
No.
Okay.
No, but if they lose by 15 or so, maybe.
I think the offensive rhythm here is going to be really fascinating, because if the Knicks can drag this thing into the cellar, Halliburton is going to be up against it. What's wrong?
This guy talked about Rudy Gobert. Gobert in a post.
Come on now.
I mean, Rudy Gobert in a post. I would take Frederick Weiss in a post.
No.
And you know what Frederick Weiss is? Go
No
look
one
him up.
knows who that is. Completely outdated reference.
Wait, see, I took
Rudy Gobert over 2.5. Joe Madden's next.
Messed up year.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Drysdale could easily, at plus money, get the first goal, the second goal, the fourth goal. There's a few guys here. Maybe the prop betting market is not a bad way to look here.
Clippers over the Mavericks. If I would have told you that score before the game, knowing that Kawhi Leonard wasn't playing, I would have really figured it would have been the other way around. But the NBA is just crazy.
In-game live, all access, only on SportsGrid.
DraftKings making a progressive move, I think, that most other companies are also going to do or have done in the past. Adding someone from the government or someone you would say in legislation to become their responsible gaming leader here. And in this case, her name is Lori Kalani.
And it'll be interesting to see if other companies try to follow suit in terms of hiring former lobbyists to head responsible gaming.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
I just don't want to play for clicks. I want to be involved with a great leading program that's going to develop players. Him leaving Colorado, a shot across the bow at Dion. I don't think Dion cares.
We saw Logan Diggs move on from LSU to Ole Miss with Lane Kiffin. Don't be shocked if you see John Emery potentially maybe at another school, maybe like a Miss State or even maybe like a Texas A&M.
Inside the transfer portal, only on SportsGrid.
Back with you on Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh with you here on SportsGrid, joined now by Joe Madden as we turn our attention to the NHL playoffs, where we have a new series beginning in Florida, the Panthers and the Bruins. Joe, a very important one in the Eastern Conference, which looks like it could be in for a great round overall.
Yeah, absolutely. Super excited for this round to kick off here in round two. All of these positions solidified. And the Boston Bruins, you know, they pushed it to the very wire overtime versus the Toronto Maple Leafs. They were lucky to get out of there alive, but they've come through now meeting up with the Florida Panthers. This is going to be quite the series between these two, Kevin.
It absolutely is. But, Joe, I think it would be appropriate before we get to this Game 1 breakdown to talk a little Rangers-Hurricanes, because you were one of the few people I heard saying, hey, listen, the Rangers are being doubted a little bit with some of this Game 1 series price, numbers here that we were seeing. And the Rangers came out and attacked early, a 3-1 lead, a 3-1 lead at the end of the first period, and a 4-3 final. The Rangers now slight favorites to win that series. What did you take away from the opener at Madison Square Garden?
Oh, my God. Firstly, it was absolutely fantastic out there on the ice. Both of these teams with that rest came out so phenomenally fast and strong, but the defenses were getting those block shots as well. So if you were riding any shots on goal prop, that had to hurt in that game because those block shots left, right, and center. But offensively, these teams really stepping up. Now, looking at the rest of the series ahead of us, am I expecting that fast pace in the first period? I still am. I'm expecting both of these teams to really try to push the limits in that first period and then continue to lock down in the second and third, as we saw in that first game. I still do think the Rangers have the upper hand. You look at them, those shots that they were able to get by Frederik Andersen in game one were stellar shots on him, nice high danger shots. And Frederik Andersen, even a couple through that 5-hole that he just didn't see coming. So I really do think the Rangers have every ability to take the series. I would take them if you already don't have a bet on them to take the series. And I'm going to take them here in game two. That's coming in at minus 102 right now on the money line. Game two. You look at the last time these two teams matched up in the playoffs. It was 2 seasons ago, Kevin. What we saw in that was a home team win every single game except for game 7. Now that was in Carolina and the Rangers were able to win that game 7. I really do think this series goes deep. I think Carolina can win on their home ice. I think the Rangers win on their own home ice, and we have the same result. This one could go all the way to 7 with the Rangers getting the win again.
It's going to be a lot of fun to watch that one play out. And the winner of that series will play the winner of Florida and Boston. The Panthers are favored to win this series, Joe. We'll start with the big picture prices. Anything series long catching your attention here with the Panthers and the Bruins?
Yeah, series long, I'm looking at the Florida Panthers to be able to take this series. Now, I don't think it's going to be easy. I think this one is in 6 or a 7. I prefer the number of 6. I really do think Boston's going to pick up a couple wins, but I don't see that pushing this to game 7. So Boston, you got to remember, is coming off such a hard fought series versus the Toronto Maple Leafs. It was so physical. It was so hard hitting. I really do think they will struggle down the stretch here with the Florida Panthers. So it's Florida for me in this one in 6.
Yeah, I think that the length of these series, with, again, just the way some of the prices have suggested here, the Hurricanes and the Panthers, a lot of people believe, are on a collision course. So it's up to the Rangers, despite winning that President's Trophy, or the Boston Bruins with all their pedigree, to upset the apple cart here. And I'm curious if you think that could happen here tonight, Joe, with Boston and Florida. I'm on Boston in this game. I can expand a little bit as to the why in a few moments, but I want your takes here for game number 1 with these two teams taking the ice.
This is going to be an epic battle out there on the ice, and I really did take away a lot from looking at the Rangers and the Hurricanes last night. These two teams having that rest, they didn't show that rest, especially in that first period, and I really do think Florida can come out the same way in this. They've been keeping a close eye on the round 1 series between the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Boston Bruins. They've been watching how the Bruins have been playing, and I do think this could be a letdown spot for the Bruins. You know, they're coming off that big high on Saturday, overtime win. And now it's it's Monday, actually, Kevin. I feel like it's Tuesday, that they're turning around to play here again. So I think it's too short of time. I think the league really should have kept this game till tomorrow and given Boston one more day to prepare here, because the Florida Panthers are going to come in so rested. Now, a lot of people say that could equal rest. I'm just not seeing it with this team. They've got all the playmakers, and I'm looking mainly at Bobrovsky. Bobrovsky has been so absolutely phenomenal in net for the Florida Panthers. We saw him versus the Tampa Bay Lightning. He absolutely stood on his head in some of those games. The Tampa Bay Lightning are so strong. Offensively, we know they had one of the best power plays overall in the league in the regular season, and Bobrovsky was able to just take all of those shots and really get phenomenal wins there for his team. So looking at the Bruins, I think a little bit of a letdown on the offensive side of things. Florida is so strong on defense. And then offensively, you got to think Sam Reinhart, Matthew Tkachuk, Verhaeghe, they come out here phenomenally strong, make a statement in this first period. So I'm looking for the goal in the first 5 minutes. Could it come from Boston? It absolutely could with their momentum off of game 1. I just really do think it probably comes from the Florida Panthers. So I'm going to take the Florida Panthers on the puck line in the first period, laying the half a goal. That's at plus 150. And the goal in the first 5 minutes at plus 190, Kevin.
So I will say this. In no way is this one of these, and it's probably never going to happen with hockey. I'm going to bang the table and be like, Joe, you're crazy. Panthers are going to get killed. That's not the scenario we have here. But there is one thing that caught my eye, which was Boston swept Florida in the regular season. Now, in typical Boston fashion, they were all incredibly close games, but that has to count for something. But it's also the Bruins series, and I think, again, it's so fascinating how teams can leave series despite winning in negative fashions. We just talked about this with Coach and the Indiana Pacers. They won in 6. We're like, Pacers weren't impressive, right? The Knicks should be able to run this team. The Boston Bruins won 2 out of the 3 games against Toronto. But I think, Joe, because the Maple Leafs have that playoff stink around them and the Bruins have this pedigree, people are like, you know what? Get rid of the Bruins. I can't believe they let Toronto hang around. But if Boston has shown an ability to beat Florida and to win on the road, and we're getting around better than plus 140 for a money line here, I'm going to take my chances. I think what's going to be interesting is, do the Bruins play that faster, looser version of hockey that we saw early in the series against Toronto? Or, Joe, will it look the way all these final few games did, 2-1, 2-1, 2-1 against Toronto? Because we saw the series for Florida against Tampa Bay all had 5 goals or more.
Yeah, this one, I really do think we're going to see the goals coming in here. I think the defense will be tired here for the Boston Bruins, and Swayman's going to be peppered by the Florida Panthers. I think the goals are coming, and I could see Boston hitting Bobrovsky fast because we saw the goaltenders. We had fantastic goaltenders last night, the Rangers versus the Carolina Hurricanes, with Frederik Andersen and Igor Shesterkin. Those goaltenders, the goals that they let in just weren't at the same level. So Bobrovsky, with the same sort of rest, you've got to think a couple of goals can go in early for the Boston Bruins as well before he really settles into things. So I could see the goals in this. I completely understand the plus money with the Boston Bruins. You know, during the regular season, if you were getting the Boston Bruins at plus 136 in any situation, you were jumping on them. So I completely understand your reasoning. I just can't fade the Florida Panthers with how strong this team has been overall.
And again, it certainly could go that way. I thought there was enough value there on Boston to give them a shot at a plus 142 price. Time will tell. But we got to get to this baseball board, which already has a number of games underway. I was telling Joe I thought today was Tuesday. I was going to make some Dinger Tuesday selections. The question is, do I still make those same bets on a Monday? We'll try and find the answer, and we'll try and figure out what to do with the Walker Buehler return game that happens tonight against the Miami Marlins. Run line? Which way? We'll break that down next right here on Sports.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Drysdale could easily, at plus money, get the first goal, the second goal, the fourth goal. There's a few guys here. Maybe the prop betting market is not a bad way to look here.
Clippers over the Mavericks. If I would have told you that score before the game, knowing that Kawhi Leonard wasn't playing, I would have really figured it would have been the other way around. But the NBA is just crazy.
In-game live, all access, only on SportsGrid.
DraftKings making a progressive move, I think, that most other companies are also going to do or have done in the past. Adding someone from the government or someone you would say in legislation to become their responsible gaming leader here. And in this case, her name is Lori Kalani.
And it'll be interesting to see if other companies try to follow suit in terms of hiring former lobbyists to head responsible gaming.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
I just don't want to play for clicks. I want to be involved with a great leading program that's going to develop players. Him leaving Colorado, a shot across the bow at Dion. I don't think Dion cares.
We saw Logan Diggs move on from LSU to Ole Miss with Lane Kiffin. Don't be shocked if you see John Emery potentially maybe at another school, maybe like a Miss State or even maybe like a Texas A&M.
Inside the transfer portal, only on SportsGrid.
It's baseball time. I got to tell you, a little behind the scenes, it does not matter how big the NBA is. It doesn't matter how big the NHL is. The crew here loves their baseball. I'm hearing Francisco Lindor, Padres, Cole Reagans, Jack Flaherty all day. That's all I hear. Let's hear a little more baseball. That's from Joe Madden. Joe, it is a really interesting board. There's a lot that's already underway. Curious of any of the games that are already happening. Is there any action that you're following?
Yeah, absolutely. In all of these games, I've got something going on. I was looking at the Detroit Tigers. With Jack Flaherty coming out to go over his strikeouts. Now his numbers, he's been able to get those Ks on the board. I think he has 50 already. So I did take him over the 5.5 strikeouts. I was a little surprised. We were getting plus money at plus 112. And I like this game to the under. So right now we're seeing that one tied 1-1 at the top of the fifth, hoping this game still stays under the 7.5 that it closed at live right now, 6.5, Kevin. I still like it to stay under that. I looked at the Angels in the first 5 on the money line here versus the Pittsburgh Pirates. I really did think they had the ability to get the win in the first 5. I wanted to take them for the full game, but I just can't trust their bullpen and Anderson getting the start for them. I thought he could do enough here versus Mitch Keller in the first 5. And then the Chicago White Sox and the Tampa Bay Rays, I took that one to the over. That live number is 7.5 at plus 110 to the over. It's scoreless here, but it's still only the top of the second. I do expect the runs to come between these two teams, the Chicago White Sox and the Tampa Bay Rays. You know you can always count on the Rays for those runs. And the White Sox, the last time they faced Tampa, they did take 2 of the 3, I believe, and they were able to put those runs on the board. So kind of leaning on the Chicago White Sox as well here, Kevin.
And you can always count on Joe to be involved in the games. I had no idea. There was a chance you're like, nah, not really. Nope, never the case. Always involved. You got to respect it there with Joe Madden. All right, Joe, let's get into some of the games that have not started just yet. Really interesting one in Minnesota as the Red Hot Twins saw their streak snapped by the Boston Red Sox to a potential bounce-back spot. But they're home dogs with Luis Castillo going for the Seattle Mariners. What do you like in this game?
Yeah, this is hard because I wanted to find a way to take the Twins, but with Wood Richardson coming out here, I just don't know how much I trust him. Luis Castillo, on the other hand, for the Seattle Mariners, I have the faith in him. 3-4 on the season with a 3.46 ERA. I think he can come out strong enough. He's had a couple of hot starts his last couple. That ERA has really dropped down in the last 3 to a 2.86. And I think this is a short price on the Seattle Mariners. I know the Twins want to bounce back here. I know how phenomenally hot they've been, but I think we're in for a couple of letdown games, and this being one of them tonight. I just think it's too good of a price here on the Seattle Mariners, Kevin. So I'll take them on the money line.
It's so funny. I went into the game thinking, all right, Twins, home dog, streak snapped. And the more I looked at it, the more I thought Mariners as well. I backed off of the game, but Joe, I absolutely see the vision there. What about the Mets on the road here against the St. Louis Cardinals with an interesting Kyle Gibson-Sean Manaea matchup?
I'm tempted to take the Mets on the reverse run line here, laying 1.5, and you're getting that right around the plus 170 mark. I will take them straight up on that money line at plus 112. Manaea has been strong 1-1 on the season with a 3.07 ERA. And I really do think with the bullpen here of the Mets, they can have their way over the Cards. The Cards starting Gibson in this one. His ERA is sitting just under 4 at a 3.79. It's Mets all day for me for a nice big win in this. So money line, you're still getting plus money. But if you want to sprinkle on the reverse run line, laying 1.5 at plus 170-ish, Kevin, I think it's worth it.
All right, so potential some reverse run line there, bringing the plus money in. Some plus money as well, Joe, with the Athletics at home tonight against the Texas Rangers.
It's so tempting to take the A's every single game with how hot they have been as of late. And this is one I have to look at them. Alex Wood getting the start and Heaney coming out here for the Texas Rangers. We know both of these pitchers you can't really trust. They've got high ERAs here, but I look at the Texas Rangers and their struggles versus lefties, and I really do think the A's in the first 5 is exactly where you need to look. You're getting plus money on them in the first 5 as well. They're at home. That's coming in at plus 112. And Kevin, like I said, this team has been rolling hot as of late. They're now sitting 9-10 at home on the season, 17-18. The A's are on their run of the year. It's not going to last forever, so I'm grabbing them now, that first 5 on the money line.
Who would have ever thought that at any point this season the A's would be tempting? But they are. They've been playing great baseball, and they are a win away from getting right back up to 500. All right, Joe, so I think the Dodgers game's fascinating because Walker Buehler has not pitched in nearly 2 years. 2022 June, I believe, was the last time we saw Walker Buehler, and he's a minus 330 favorite against the Marlins tonight. How do you feel about this Walker Buehler return? Are you backing him in any way specifically?
No, I'm not. I can't trust either the pitchers getting the start here today for either of these teams. Walker Buehler, while he hasn't started since June of 2022, we know he's done his rehab. He's gone through everything, and he should be ready to come out. But the Dodgers starting him here versus Miami is showing me their lack of confidence in him. I don't think starting him against a Miami team is a position where they think he's going to come out phenomenally strong or be able to go deep in this one. So I'm looking at this one. I'm looking at what I can trust. What can I trust with the Dodgers? Well, it's their ability to get these runs on the board. Their team is so strong offensively. I'm just going to play it safe. Take them over 5.5 runs in this one. You're getting plus money at plus 106. The majority of the time you normally can get the Dodgers at over 4.5, but I think they easily clear the 5.5 in this one, Kevin. I just don't trust either of the starting pitchers. I think you can look at Will Smith too. You can look at him to record 2+ bases in this at plus 105. He's on a day's rest. The last 2 games on a day's rest. He's also been able to get that home run on the board. That's coming in at plus 520. I'll definitely be betting that tonight.
Absolutely love the trend there. Excellent stuff as always. Joe Madden, appreciate it. Best of luck with the baseball and the hockey as well.
Thanks, Kevin. You too.
Fantastic stuff. I will say the Dodgers-Marlins game is going to provide my MLB play of the day. We are betting a run line. Perhaps you can tell by the tone of my voice which run line we are betting. Oh, the faders will be out. That's okay. We're going to have some fun. That's okay. That's okay. We still like what we're seeing here. We're going to throw a couple of other baseball picks on the board as we're live with you. It's Game Time Decisions on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Drysdale could easily at plus money get the first goal, the second goal, the fourth goal. There's a few guys here. Maybe the prop betting market is not a bad way to look here.
Clippers over the Mavericks. If I would have told you that score before the game, knowing that Kawhi Leonard wasn't playing, I would have really figured it would have been the other way around. But the NBA is just crazy.
In-game live, all access, only on SportsGrid.
DraftKings making a progressive move, I think, that most other companies are also going to do or have done in the past. Adding someone from the government or someone you would say in legislation to become their responsible gaming leader here. And in this case, her name is Lori Kalani.
And it'll be interesting to see if other companies try to follow suit in terms of hiring former lobbyists to head responsible gaming.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
I just don't want to play for clicks. I want to be involved with a great leading program that's going to develop players. Him leaving Colorado, a shot across the bow at Dion. I don't think Dion cares.
We saw Logan Diggs move on from LSU to Ole Miss with Lane Kiffin. Don't be shocked if you see John Emery potentially maybe at another school, maybe like a Miss State or even maybe like a Texas A&M.
Inside the transfer portal, only on SportsGrid.
Baseball picks are on the board. We just added a few more. Sometimes, this is what happens with me in baseball. It's very interesting. Sometimes, real reserved, just the play of the day. Other times, seeing the board. Hope to be seeing the board. So let's go through your additional sizzles before we get to the play of the day. Mets Cards, a lot of juice in this game. Give me J.D. Martinez over the 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs, minus 115. Give me Paul Goldschmidt, same prop, minus 130, over the 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. Taking Corey Seager, plus 110, over a half of a run scored. I'm on the Padres' money line at Wrigley Field tonight. Yu Darvish, a little bounce back spot after the Diamondbacks cleaned them up. Now, the Miami Marlins against Walker Buehler. Marlins plus 2.5, minus 125. Look, being able to get plus 2.5 is not a common thing. Now, it is only there for a reason. I 100% understand that. But what we have is Rodri Munoz, a young pitcher going for Miami, who so far is off to a really nice start. What if the kid's a stud? The Marlins, we know that they've been able to churn out some good pitching prospects. Perhaps they have one here in Munoz. The unknown. For Walker Buehler, we don't know what he's going to be either. He could be incredible. He could no-hit the Marlins through 5. I'm not telling you I'd be stunned by that. They might light him up. It's his first real start in 2 years. Minus 330. That's just an outrageous number. Now, you might argue this is the best team in the National League against the worst team in the National League, but I'm going to take my chances here on 2.5 runs with so many question marks going into this game at minus 125. There's a part of me that wanted to just sprinkle the money line here, and you certainly could if you'd like, but the play of the day is the Miami Marlins plus 2.5 runs against the Los Angeles Dodgers at minus 125. Let's reset the NBA because very soon we will tip off the series between the New York Knicks and the Indiana Pacers. This line looks like it'll be closing plus 6 Pacers, total at 217. And I am on the Indiana Pacers team total over 105.5. The Pacers hit this number. Not just this number, but they scored 120 plus in 4 out of the 6 against the Bucks. The Bucks are not as good defensively as the New York Knicks. I understand that. But that's the level we're talking about here. The Pacers' offensive struggles, I think, perhaps maybe a tick overstated due to a rough start in that series, another down game that they had in Game 5, and Halliburton not being anywhere near the all-star level that got him to the starting spot in that game, got him on Team USA, lit up the in-season tournament. I get all that. But Halliburton can bounce back. He can. I think Halliburton's been gaining confidence throughout this postseason. And the Knicks, if they throw OG Anunoby on him, okay, that can certainly present some issues. But if not, I think Halliburton's going to be able to get loose. Brunson's not a defender. Dante DiVincenzo, Deuce McBride, solid enough, but I think Halliburton can start to get the rhythm. His points prop, Halliburton, at the 17.5 number, it is tempting, but I'm taking a longer shot on Halliburton to lead this game in threes at plus 420. Let's just do a little market-by-market comparison. We'll talk to Dave Sharapan, by the way, in just a little bit about where some of these things check in. First of all, to lead this series in made threes on FanDuel is plus 240. So I bet Halliburton to lead tonight's game in made threes, and I bet that at plus 420. If Halliburton does not cash my ticket tonight, I should be getting a better piece of value than on Halliburton to lead the series. That is where this bet was born from, because I think Hallie should be the favorite. Ironically enough, Halliburton is not the favorite over Dante DiVincenzo on FanDuel, but he is the favorite on DraftKings to lead the series. He's also the favorite on DraftKings to lead the game at plus 170. Listen, if this Halliburton bet wins, amazing. I think it has a great chance to. I think his volume is more guaranteed than anybody else's in the game. I expect 10-plus attempts from Halliburton. When he shoots it 10 or more times from 3, 17-game sample size, almost 12 attempts per game at more than 5 makes per night. You can play the Halliburton number straight. But one book's going plus 170, the other's going plus 420. I'm going to take the plus 420, take that edge that I'm being offered here by FanDuel, and see if Halliburton can rocket ship through the made 3-point prop tonight here as we get set for Knicks Pacers, a very important series in the Eastern Conference where both teams are being priced as if they will give Boston their biggest challenge in the conference finals. That is, if Boston is their car. Of course, we'll talk to Consig next.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Drysdale could easily, at plus money, get the first goal, the second goal, the fourth goal. There's a few guys here. Maybe the prop betting market is not a bad way to look here.
Clippers over the Mavericks. If I would have told you that score before the game, knowing that Kawhi Leonard wasn't playing, I would have really figured it would have been the other way around. But the NBA is just crazy.
In-game live, all access, only on SportsGrid.
DraftKings making a progressive move, I think, that most other companies are also going to do or have done in the past. Adding someone from the government or someone you would say in legislation to become their responsible gaming leader here. And in this case, her name is Lori Kalani.
And it'll be interesting to see if other companies try to follow suit in terms of hiring former lobbyists to head responsible gaming.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
I just don't want to play for clicks. I want to be involved with a great leading program that's going to develop players. Him leaving Colorado, a shot across the bow at Dion. I don't think Dion cares.
We saw Logan Diggs move on from LSU to Ole Miss with Lane Kiffin. Don't be shocked if you see John Emery potentially maybe at another school, maybe like a Miss State or even maybe like a Texas A&M.
Inside the transfer portal, only on SportsGrid.
Back right here, Game Time Decisions. Kevin Walsh, joined by Dave Sharapan, the one and only, the Consig. Consig, it's going to tip off soon, so talk to me. Knicks Pacers, what are you hearing? What are you thinking? What are you feeling?
Steam on the New York Knicks. The Knickerbockers basketball. It's all about them tonight. Heard you talking about the 3 prop. I like it. I see what you're doing. And, we're making lines during the commercial break on some other things. But makes perfect sense to play the Knicks. KW, this is going to be a long series. I think this is a long series. I think this is a 6 or 7 banger.
Yeah, I don't think that's wrong. If I didn't play it, here's what I'll tell people right now with some of the series prices. I am being pulled on whether I want to bet to win or bet to hedge. Like, I think there's value on Pacers minus a game and a half alt spread plus 330.
What?
Because, well, think about it though, Dave. Right? Is that really crazy? If they
Pacers
take one of the first 2 and protect.
That's Pacers.
No,
in
minus
5.
a game and a half. Minus a game and a half is Pacers in 6. That number's a little wonky with what we've seen from a lot of these pricings for road teams to win in 6. The books have been really protecting themselves from that stuff.
Yeah,
because they're you know what I mean. It's kind of the home court. So plus 330, I thought that was an interesting number. But I think if I like that bet now, I have to like the Pacers to win tonight. Otherwise, it's a dumb bet. Or not a dumb bet, but it's not going to win. And I think tonight, the one thing I trust is the Pacers' offense more than the result. I'm on a Pacers team total here, Dave, as opposed to being on a Pacers spread. So because of that, I'm going to let a lot of those series numbers go, and I think there could be some juice to be had once we let a game settle in.
No, that makes sense. I think the total's interesting tonight. There's a lot of push on the over. The game has juice, not just because it's in Madison Square Garden and it's the Knicks. I think you just said it. The thing that looks like you can trust the most is absolutely the Indiana Pacers offense. I told you before, I went and got all the merch at the shop for the Knicks.
Right.
These guys put it on me. This is a running thing. Thank you, Frankie, for
Looks
making
ridiculous.
this happen. I got the jersey, the foam finger, and a hat. This is setting up for. I think this is bringing back the days of the Pacers and the Knicks with Reggie Miller and John Starks and all that stuff for me. This is going to be a back and forth. Are you concerned from the Knicks standpoint of the lack of a deep rotation, K-Dub? That's what everybody's talking about. They've used a lot of guys with a lot of minutes and had a pretty, I think, tough series against the Sixers. I don't know if it was 6 games is long enough. Are you concerned about the lack of a bench for the Knicks?
Yes. I was concerned about it against Philly, and just because they got through Philly doesn't mean these things don't matter. Ultimately, when you play guys playoff minutes in the regular season, it becomes difficult to go up a level. So it's on the Knicks to drag everyone down to these low scoring games, because then they can always stay in striking distance. The Pacers scored 120 in 4 out of the 6 against the Bucks. The Knicks never hit 120 in the series against the Sixers.
Whew.
That matters.
Yeah.
Now, different defenses, different opponents.
Correct.
I'm aware of that. But it's one of those things where I'm not right now in love with the setup here for the Knicks, but I'm just going to trust that Pacers offense. And I'm going to let that go and let that run. Because if the Knicks tonight get into a free-flowing series and have home court advantage, hot three-point shooting, they could score 120. I don't think they'll do it over the course of a series, though.
Is this a correlation thing for you when you look at this game? I was looking at it this morning. If you like Pacers, do you like over? And if you like Knicks, do you like under? Is that one of those kind of things that do you necessarily draw that? Because, you know, we're going to talk about the hockey in a little while here. And a lot of times tonight, you know, you got me all excited today when you reached out via the text. I've been chomping at the bit for the hockey part of this segment.
Yep.
But this might have that type of correlation to people to get to the window. You know, Pacers offense over, Knicks defense under. I don't know if you can make that necessarily like lock type, you know, assumption, but I think a lot of people will.
I agree, and so funny, man. I'll be honest with you, Dave, and I'm not going to say that I haven't said things like that. I hate things like that. I hate it. If you parlay Pacers and over, it pays out less than Pacers and under. Which doesn't even make sense. Like, taking a dog in a lower scoring game is supposed to be more valuable. But so, one, the books are ready for it. But two, I just think sometimes things like that are staring people so directly in the face, I have no choice but to root against it. Like, I'll tell you this right now. If the Pacers score 100, they're losing this game. What if the Knicks scored 97? They did it a bunch of times against the Sixers. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I know why you're bringing it up. I'm not even saying you're wrong to bring it up. I'm telling you the books are ready for it, and I'm rooting against it. Let's do Nuggets Timberwolves, because I did send you a text about the hockey, and I want to keep pushing it off a little bit.
That's fine.
Here's what caught my attention. You know, I try and usually just look at the FanDuel and the DK odds because they're the two primaries out here. One book flipped Minnesota to the favorite in the West. Another book did not.
Yes.
What do you make of that, and what are you seeing out there for any of those futures markets?
It's a good discussion. It's a good debate. after they won Saturday night, it was, with me, how much of a favorite do you make Minnesota? Not do you make them a favorite. It was they are a favorite. So you got to be careful how big you make it, because you're going to give somebody a free shot on the Nuggets at plus money. Now comes out that Gobert's not playing. Maybe not, but likely not.
Yeah.
So the line steams
waiting.
up. Yeah. Denver goes to 7 out here in the desert, still sitting at 7 right now, which leads me to believe that he's probably not going to play, which means Denver most likely win this game. And now we got a series price that I think is pick'em, K-Dub. Minnesota going home split was exactly what we talked about last week here on this show. That was the most likely scenario. And the series price would reflect that. I think it makes it a dead pick'em, because the next likely scenario is that they split the games in Minnesota and we got a 3-game series with Denver at home.
Which is funny, though, because that number, right, of Minnesota booked as the favorite to win the series won't be true if Denver wins tonight, despite everybody thinking, okay, well, Denver won't lose the first 2 at home. I always find that very interesting, just the way those numbers, the series prices, have to move. I mentioned the somewhat interest I had in betting the Pacers minus a game and a half. The Nuggets bet I have interest in, despite not fully believing in them, is Denver in 5 at 8-1. Wow. But it's if they're supposed to win tonight, right?
Yep.
Well, the number goes down to what? 6? Maybe less. It moves. It was plus 360 before the series started. So it move, right?
Yeah, probably
and
between
if they take
5
game
and 550.
3,
yeah.
If they take game 3,
hello.
Well, now all of a sudden,
hello.
Okay, so now, but there's different ways to attack Denver, like Jamal Murray. Talk to hockey next.
Can't wait.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Drysdale could easily, at plus money, get the first goal, the second goal, the fourth goal. There's a few guys here. Maybe the prop betting market is not a bad way to look here.
Clippers over the Mavericks. If I would have told you that score before the game, knowing that Kawhi Leonard wasn't playing, I would have really figured it would have been the other way around. But the NBA is just crazy.
In-game live, all access, only on SportsGrid.
DraftKings making a progressive move, I think, that most other companies are also going to do or have done in the past. Adding someone from the government or someone you would say in legislation to become their responsible gaming leader here. And in this case, her name is Lori Kalani.
And it'll be interesting to see if other companies try to follow suit in terms of hiring former lobbyists to head responsible gaming.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
I just don't want to play for clicks. I want to be involved with a great leading program that's going to develop players. Him leaving Colorado, a shot across the bow at Dion. I don't think Dion cares.
We saw Logan Diggs move on from LSU to Ole Miss with Lane Kiffin. Don't be shocked if you see John Emery potentially maybe at another school, maybe like a Miss State or even maybe like a Texas A&M.
Inside the transfer portal, only on SportsGrid.
Game time decisions, we're back right here. By the way, the Jamal Murray bets are not a mystery, so in case you're tuning in, I don't want to leave people in full suspense. I'm on him to score 30 at plus 500. I think it's a more than fair number. Of his 6 30-point games last postseason, 4 of those came at home, 2 of those at home against Minnesota. I know it's not a carbon copy, same team, but if you looked at last game, Jamal had 0 at half, 17 he finished with. So that means we're on pace. Jamal Murray has to stop with the slow starts, specifically. So I think if we can get Jamal Murray to give us, it's going to sound ridiculous, but he can give us 20 in the first half.
Oh.
And then we just walk it downhill from there. I'll tell you this, I'd love a Jamal Murray first half prop, but we're on the 30-plus at plus 500, and we're looking to get in the mix. Consig, hockey.
Yes, sir.
Bruins, Panthers. You want me to go first, or you want to go first?
Oh, no, you go first. You talk to the hockey guy.
All right. Yeah, so
Yes.
here's as much as I will tell people. There's a
Please.
guy in my circle that some guys you trust, and other guys, if you hear what you're looking for, you know it's time to zag right on them.
Get to the window.
I'm enjoying the hockey. Had the over in the Canes Rangers game. You and I talked that out quite a bit yesterday.
Thank you.
Dave
Yes,
was there
sir.
with us on the weekend game time decisions. So I just want to stick with it, right? I've enjoyed the hockey this season. It has been fun.
Yes.
So I saw Panthers Bruins. I said, I think I like Boston to steal the game. I'm thinking they're going to be counted out by everybody. Swept the regular season, rest versus rust. We always do this debate. But I need to check. I need to check. So the text goes down. Panthers, Bruins, thoughts? I always send it in a group chat. You never make it obvious.
Correct.
First reply comes from someone respected. Panthers. Better win game 1, or it's going to be a long series for them. So I thought that was an interesting insight. If they lose tonight, they could be in some trouble. So that was from respected. But now from the source.
Yes.
From the source.
Uh-oh.
Long series for who, LOL? Panthers going to wax them. Bruins didn't play well all series, and the goalie is banged up. Panthers in 5, maybe 6 if bees are lucky. Look at the glasses. Dave, little Beantown love?
Wow. I had to put the listening glasses on. When the guy comes in the chat, that's strong.
That's
strong. Okay? Very strong. Now, I don't know where he got the information. Okay? It's reliable information. The move has come already on the Bruins out here on the desert. It's 10 cents off the market. Someone likes the Bruins. I'm not sure who it is. Just like in The Godfather, when he, Hyman asked, you never ask who gave the order. I don't know who made the play. I don't know.
Right.
But I know they're on the Bruins. Now, all of that being said, K-Dub, the Bruins were 4-0 against the Panthers this season. Okay?
Yes.
I don't know how much you want to take that into account. I kind of dismiss it because I don't know who played goal. I didn't go back and look, but I believe Allmark was in net multiple times. Okay? Swayman was magical. Swayman, really, Boston did get outplayed in a lot of those minutes against the Maple Leafs, especially in the last 3 games. And my heart goes out to Cam Stewart and all of you Toronto fans who continue to just be disappointed every spring. Cannot beat the Bruins. All that being said, I like Florida tonight in the game, but I also like it over. Okay?
Interesting.
The trend, the same thing we talked about yesterday, is that natural inclination. Oh, another under. Swayman can't be beat. Blah, 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 blah. I think the game goes the direction of Florida scores first. Boston probably answers. First period, probably over.
Okay.
Then the game continues with juice. If the refs want to be a part of the game tonight and call power plays, call penalties to cause power plays, game's going over. Might be over by the beginning of the third period.
And let me tell you this. This is one of those games. 2-0 Panthers. That shining plus 600 Boston bet, let's leave it alone. Don't worry about it. Not our night. It's all right. Not our night. But can I tell you this, Dave? And there's a reason I don't always send that text out. A lot of times I wait for it to come to me.
Absolutely.
But there was a chance the text was going to say, Bruins swept them in the regular season. We got to take the Bruins. And when
that's what I was hoping for.
And we got the total opposite. So,
right.
And
see, maybe this guy's getting the good information. Maybe maybe it's flipped. You got to be very careful. This is what happens in the postseason. All the favorites won in the postseason, in the NHL, and then in the basketball, all of them except the Suns.
Listen
won.
to me.
Everybody's very healthy right now. Pockets are full.
Can I tell you? I'll tell you this. Bet the Rangers yesterday, won with the Rangers, okay? You know that. That's how that's going to go all postseason until, right?
Yes.
The one thing we have going against us is the Panthers ticket hasn't been sent. Like Panthers puck line is what I've been waiting to see. It probably doesn't get sent. And that'll
tonight.
So it'll end up being like the I was right but made no money off of it situation. But I'm telling you this right now, like I'm ready for the head-to-head. I'm ready to box.
Yeah.
I'm ready to rock and roll if that's the situation we get to. Let me ask you, heartbreak in Vegas? Tough loss. Great game.
Yeah, listen, that was a great series, and it came down to just one. I mean, if Eichel hits it in, they probably win, and he misses the empty net kind of thing, and Otter was amazing. Hill was amazing. Yes, it's a bummer. I mean, like my kids were like, oh, I guess hockey season's over. I'm like, we're just getting started. But for the locals, it's everybody's you know what happens. You're used to it in New York when your team loses. You know what I mean? Everybody's kind of bummed out. Like, really, it's over? Yeah. What? What'd I say? What?
Well, you know what's funny about that? I naturally got offended, but everyone knows, like, I'm the bad New Yorker, right? Jets lose, Giants, none of that bothers me. I'm not an Eagle fan. Knicks lose, I probably lose betting the other side. It's a good day in the house. It still doesn't bother me.
You get it. That's why I can say it. Yeah.
Now, we got to ask about the baseball because the Walker Buehler price is really interesting. That's next.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Drysdale could easily, at plus money, get the first goal, the second goal, the fourth goal. There's a few guys here. Maybe the prop betting market is not a bad way to look here.
Clippers over the Mavericks. If I would have told you that score before the game, knowing that Kawhi Leonard wasn't playing, I would have really figured it would have been the other way around. But the NBA is just crazy.
In-game live, all access, only on SportsGrid.
DraftKings making a progressive move, I think, that most other companies are also going to do or have done in the past. Adding someone from the government or someone you would say in legislation to become their responsible gaming leader here. And in this case, her name is Lori Kalani.
And it'll be interesting to see if other companies try to follow suit in terms of hiring former lobbyists to head responsible gaming.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
I just don't want to play for clicks. I want to be involved with a great leading program that's going to develop players. Him leaving Colorado, a shot across the bow at Dion. I don't think Dion cares.
We saw Logan Diggs move on from LSU to Ole Miss with Lane Kiffin. Don't be shocked if you see John Emery potentially maybe at another school, maybe like a Miss State or even maybe like a Texas A&M.
Inside the transfer portal, only on SportsGrid.
Back right here, Game Time Decisions. JD Martinez walks with a base open but a man on second. I mean, who's that helping? Who's that helping? Not me. It's all right. Early 14-13 lead for the Knicks. The Pacers have made their threes. That's what's kind of keeping things afloat here. We'll see how things continue to trend. But Consig, I didn't get any baseball thoughts out of you. So what do you like here before you get on your way?
Well, I got this one here. I'm wearing the Cubs stuff, because the Cubs, arguably best team in the NL Central. I think most people would agree with that. Even my friend Gio, who's listening to the show right now, he's a big fan of yours. He's driving in California. Just sent me a text and said, this K-Dub is tremendous.
Thank you, sir.
Steele, 1 earned run, 12 and a third innings pitched versus the Padres in his career. That included 1 win. Padres lost Sunday. Streaky team, to say the least. That ended a 4-game winning streak, which prior to that, they had a 5-game losing streak. So multiple times have they done this. What happens extends another game to another game.
Okay.
And I like Steele today. Coming back, first start back off of the injury on opening day. So be cautious with it. But Darvish is coming back too. Off an injury. So, we were on that. I was very surprised by the Pirate number today. Pirates are leading 4-0 in the 6th. Yeah, so that's been pretty good. Keller against bad teams, good. Keller against good teams, bad. But you mentioned it. This Dodger number. I mean, the Dodger stuff all came out today. I mean, I even broke it out today. I stopped at see a guy about a thing and saw the American lock and key, locksmith. The guy even had a play. He said, Dodgers aren't losing. I said, of course. They just swept the Braves. So, I mean, how do you touch the Marlins? You want to take the dog. You want to take a 1.5. Not for me. No. I mean, every book in the world. You're taking 2? 2?
2.5. 2.5. We'll take the 2.5. Minus 125.
That's all it costs? That's
not
a good
bad
number.
Pretty good.
That's a good number. That is a bet. I like that. See? You're zigging when they're zagging, K-Dub. Hockey guy, all of it. Now you're on the dog and the baseball. Late night sweat. Will you be awake when this game's over?
100%. 100%.
Can't even make a price for that because, I know, DRS, long asleep. DRS won't even see the first pitch of this game.
No way.
10-10.
No way.
Right? No chance.
Halftime of Knicks Pacers is the DRS prop with heavy juice to the no. He's not getting there. He's not getting there, man. He's not getting there. It's all right. Hey, that's all right. We love the guy.
He's not even going to be awake for the second half play on the game? Come on.
I'm not sure he makes it through the first half. You know what I mean? He's waking up checking the phone. How'd Dante DiVincenzo do? That's all.
What about the hottest team in baseball? Oakland A's against Texas.
With this A's. I got Corey Seager to record a run. You good with that? Plus 110.
Yeah. But, I mean, we're a home dog. Won all the games last week except Sunday. Against Haney on the wood. That's the play.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Little A's love. Little A's love. Look at this. Not bad. All right, Consig. We'll talk tomorrow. Appreciate it. As always, catch Dave Sharapan coming up on In-Game Live here on SportsGrid Monday style with plenty to break down on that baseball board. The NBA already in the mix and the NHL set to begin. Bruins, Panthers. Any picks for me that have not started yet? Just mention it. Marlins plus 2.5 as we are in the mix there. Look, Walker Buehler, if he comes back, throws a no-hitter, good for him. All right? But he's a question mark, and, I mean, this kid Munoz is a question mark as well. But I'm not – in baseball, we're laying 2.5 against double question marks. That's not how we play it. So we'll take those 2.5 runs and get in the mix. If you play the over, I don't mind it, though. I don't mind that at all. 8.5 is that number. I've also got the Bruins tonight, plus 142, as we're going to try and zag on people there. rest versus rust. Let's just go with a little bit more pedigree for the Boston Bruins after the battle-tested series that they just had to play up against the Florida Panthers. NBA-wise, if Gobert is in over 2.5 points first quarter, I'm already on the bet. I'm just saying it's only relevant if he's in. Our plus 500 sizzle, though, baby. Jamal Murray for 30-plus points at home, game number 2, step-up spot against the Minnesota Timberwolves. I'm Kevin Walsh. That's Game Time Decisions. Keep it here. In-game live is next on SportsGrid.